A lot of us don't have great relationships with our fathers. And I feel like acknowledging that helps us to make necessary changes. Raising a child is a lot like making an art piece. If you don't know yourself, then your fashion sense is going to be all over the place.
I'm not sure if you're aware, but you're actually the only male guest that
I'm honored. And I'm an advocate for people creating and filming in Houston. You don't have to go to LA.
Cheers. Legacy, collaboration, not competition. This episode of Common Threads by Inobi is sweetened by Dirty Dough Cookies in Richmond, Texas. Find them on social media at dirtydough.richmond. And we are so happy to have Sade Eats and Find Small Chops as our sponsors. Follow them on Instagram today at Find Small Chops and Sade Eats. Welcome to Common Threads by Inobi, a creative space where fashion-forward individuals have relatable discussions. I'm your host, Udeme Anthony, and I am joined by a multifaceted young individual, Randy Palmer.
Hello, hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Well, first of all, because I know that we're supposed to answer these questions and everything, talk to me about this outfit, because you had my jaw on the ground when you came in here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So at least I did something right today. I feel like the day always starts with the fashion for sure. Everything is kind of like brandless. Everything has like a story. These boots are quality, real leather, Western boots, secondhand, purchased from somebody that was really passionate about Western wear. This jacket thrifted from a traveling thrifter that came through Houston. These pants are from a tailor. The only brand is the jewelry, the eyewear.
I kind of want to jump right in because I'm not sure if you're aware, but you're actually the only male guest that
I'm honored.
we're having in season 1 of Common Threads. So I'm really happy that you're here. But to start off kind of deep, I know that in society, we celebrate mothers literally every day, every month. There's a lot of opportunities to, thank and love the women that bring us onto this earth.
Absolutely.
Right? So how do you feel about the comparison of celebrating mothers and the celebration or lack of celebration of fathers? With Father's Day right around the corner.
Yes.
Let's talk about the first man that, influenced you and taught you confidence.
I feel like the first man that really taught me confidence was my pastor. Being in the audience, seeing him on stage, commanding a room full of people. The way that he dressed was impeccable. It felt like he had a different suit every single day. And just the way he put everything together was so intentional. I remember telling my mom that I wanted to be like that. Of course, she thought that meant that I wanted to preach.
No.
That made me go to church even more. But I was like, I realized in hindsight what I really meant was I want to be that influential. I want to be that impactful. I want to have that confidence and charisma when I command a room.
I love that. And so in the celebration of mothers compared to the celebration or lack of fathers, how, if you wouldn't mind talking to us about how that drives you, how you think about that on a day-to-day basis?
I would say that that's probably by design. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I do think the way that the government is set up, they pretty much regulate holidays and how it's marketed to Western society. And I feel like when it comes to the Black community specifically, there was a time when they didn't want there to be strong Black fathers in households. They didn't want them to be celebrated, and they didn't want there to be pride in being a dad. And that's something that me and my peers are adamant about promoting. I live down the street from the headquarters of Cool Dads. And I talk with him often. I'm like, hey man, I'm not a dad myself, but ever since I was little, I always dreamed of being a good father to someone. I feel like raising a child is a lot like making an art piece. And I'm all about supporting the fathers that are around me with everything that I do.
What was something that your own father taught you that you'd want to pass on to your sons?
Let's be honest, a lot of us don't have great relationships with our fathers. And I feel like acknowledging that helps us to make necessary changes. When I was little, I had a great relationship with my father. And in hindsight, like when my family broke up, I'm like, I was so involved with my own life and thinking everything was peachy and not hearing, the conversation of what was going on that I didn't see their marriage ending. And I'm like, what was it? And I remember him saying often when they would get in an argument or have a turmoil in their relationship, communication. He would say that communication was the thing that was making the situation go awry. And so now I'm very focused on how I communicate with people and listen to how they're feeling and what they want and make necessary changes. I'm not the best person at calling or texting, but I do acknowledge it, and I notice myself getting better at it, just being more verbal. And I definitely thank him for at least speaking up about that when I was younger.
Do you feel like maybe we can focus on the Houston fashion community? But since you are, sometimes you travel, you're all over the place.
Yeah.
Do you feel like in the fashion community there's some type of brotherhood with maybe models, designers, creatives, and the sort?
Absolutely. I just had an event here in Houston that was about Erykah Badu. I'm all about giving people their flowers while they're still able to smell them. And in doing so, I wanted to give flowers to the people in Houston that are not just inspired by people like Erykah Badu, but have impacted me when it comes to fashion. Shayla James, I had her host. She's an extremely fashionable person. Samo De Niro, had him bring out a rack of clothes and, style people. A lot of people aren't very confident when it comes to putting things on and putting things together. And I like to direct them towards people that are really good in that department.
That's beautiful. Let's kind of like segue into something different. Let's talk about your upcoming film and what should we expect? Challenges, experiences, achievements.
So we just had a premiere for the film that I'm starring in, and it was at Museum of Fine Arts Houston. It was a beautiful event, a full room, a lot of good responses. I got to see the behind the scenes footage for the first time. It's a short film, and I'm an advocate for people creating and filming in Houston. You don't have to go to LA or New York. Like, we're not only the source of inspiration, we're also a source of talent and the ability to make those big productions happen. So Foolish with Me is a film about a couple from Houston that that they don't have a perfect relationship. They're not even together, actually. And the foolish thing is that my character Jalen is spinning the block. So it's a little rocky and it's very much outside of myself. But
Okay, of course.
I could definitely
My bad.
I can relate to his foolishness.
Okay, heard. I hear you. I hear you.
And my co-star Precious, she is kind of like a complicated character that's kind of like manipulating him in a way. At least from my character's perspective.
Okay.
And that's why they couldn't work. But he's a optimistic lover just like I am. So he was trying to make it work when something came up. I won't say too much.
Okay.
Watch it.
I'm definitely gonna make sure I can take a glimpse at this short film. I love that.
Yeah.
Identity and self-expression. the role of fashion in shaping personal identity, innovation, and experimentation.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
I feel like when it comes to fashion, the most important thing that people should start with is who they are as a person, their identity. I feel like if you don't know yourself, then your fashion sense is going to be all over the place. Therapy is therapy is what people are talking about now. It's less taboo. I do art therapy, bring the community in to paint with me. And I even went deeper and focused on my name. Like, like Muhammad Ali, like Malcolm X, it's like slavery was a real thing. And I went from just being Randy Palmer, to Randy Wrosiv Palmer. And Wrosiv came about organically. I created a name that had never existed before because I want my descendants that come after me to be able to trace that back to somebody that's full of love and purpose and that actually cared about their lineage. I didn't want it to be traced back to just a plantation called Palmer. You know what I mean? So much pain. I want it to be a source of inspiration when it came to my name, a source of pride. So Randy Wrosiv Palmer is the name that I'm championing for not just myself, but the ones that come after me. I feel like my identity and my confidence and as an artist strengthened when I embraced a name that I actually resonated with.
That's beautiful. To be honest, I really resonate with that because of the first couple years of, well, actually first maybe 21 years of my life, I went by Demi instead of Udeme, which is my God-given name.
Yeah.
I was ashamed about how complicated it was to pronounce, and people around me always asked if I have a nickname. So I just told them Demi, but in the middle of college, I was like, no, my name is Udeme.
Yeah.
Udeme Bong means a piece or a portion of God. Like, I'm going to walk with that everywhere I go and every time I say my own name or you say my name correctly. So I resonate with that. And I really appreciate your thought process and love that you're leading with this type of just considering legacy in everything that you do.
There's so much power in the name.
No, truly.
Like just you saying your full name, like I got chill bumps. I work with Toby a lot and he's so proudful when he says Toby Chukwu, like his whole name. Like you can't help but remember not just what his name is, but the feeling and the meaning behind it.
I dare say, and I really don't mean this in a negative way, and I'm not trying to ruffle feathers, but I really hope that our people in the Black community, the African diaspora, can start to look at themselves and look at their names and consider the legacy, what's going to happen along the line and when they're not here, rather than thinking about what's happened in the past. We can't change it. It's already made us stronger, and it's already given us the opportunity to unify and collaborate and work together. So let's focus on that unification. Let's focus on building and moving forward, collaboration rather than competition. Okay, let me stop. The future of fashion and its intersection with art. You're an artist. You're obviously a fashion. What's a male version of fashionista? No? You can tell me if I'm missing the mark.
That's a point, though. They haven't really acknowledged the male fashionistas, to where there's even like a term that embodies it. So I'm really excited about the Met Gala for the fact that they're focusing on dandyism.
Yes, I was actually talking to somebody else earlier today about that, and I'm really excited to see different ways that we'll be able to represent dandyism and the tailored look, etc.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for that.
A style icon, style connoisseur.
Exactly. So my last question for today: what are 3 go-to fashion hacks, or your 3 go-to fashion hacks?
as I said, personal identity is very important. Don't just brand your Instagram page, but who you are as a person. Understanding that. Like, also what works with me. Like, I know that there's a lot of like reds in my skin tone, and so conscious of that when I put on clothes. Also, like I talked about communication, one of the main communicating tools is what you're wearing. When I go into an art gallery, a lot of times I don't even have to solicit buyers and stuff like that. They come up to me because they say, "You dress like that, you must be somebody important." And fashion is for everybody. It's as important as education to me because a lot of uneducated people look the part and they're able to get the role because, they need them to fit the aesthetic in. So definitely if you're a doctor, a dentist, a homemaker, whatever it is, whatever message you're trying to convey, you make sure that your fashion is doing it. Let it speak for you. Let it do the work. Work smarter, not harder.
I love that. I love that. Well, now that I'm done with all my questions, I kind of want to have a cookie. I've been looking at it this whole entire time. Do you want one?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I haven't tried this one.
Go ahead and grab it. I'm going to get the chocolate.
I love a red velvet situation, but I've never seen a chocolate chip cookie that was this inviting.
No, seriously.
It's thick.
I'm kind of jealous, but I'll probably get a bite of that later.
This is an attractive cookie right here. Let me half it, just in case. People say I look like Black Jesus. I gotta break bread with it.
In App Store or Google Play. I'm done. Thank you for joining me. This was such a delight.
Thank you for having me.
And yeah, celebration. Cheers.
What are we cheering to?
Legacy, collaboration, not competition.